My wife and I both had a very promiscuous past before we met and agreed that the past should stay there, so I didn't push too hard to know certain details. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, My Wife Named Our Son After Her First Love, and I Had No Idea. And a big shout out to Joseph for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy. He's married to his wife for a little while now. Not super long, but long enough. They have a 5-year-old son together. And it turns out his son has a very unique name. A name that he's never ever heard anybody else ever had before. Well, one day, he finds out that it turns out that the son is named after his wife's first love, or ex-boyfriend who she never ever quite got over with. And let's just say he didn't take it very well. And it make matters worse, you're going to find out that there's this whole other thing going on behind the scene with regards to her, the son, all that, with not only her but her family, and how this guy handles things accordingly in a way that she certainly did not see coming. That'll be a pretty good one here. And just to show you guys, remember how, by and large, most women settle. And if you think, as a guy, that you didn't have a lot of attention from girls when you were younger, then you got to your maybe mid to late 20s definitely, and all of a sudden, certain girls that wouldn't give you the time of day are paying attention to you, it's because they're looking for a husband. They're looking for that easy, nice guy that has some resources and can provide, but they never got over the guy they really want to. But they may have little things kept away to remind them of that guy, even naming your kid after them. So it starts off, says here, this is my throwaway account because she knows my main account. My son is 5 years old. About 2 days ago, we were out shopping and ran into a high school friend of hers. She was catching up when she told her friend that we had a son. When the old friend asked his name, my wife hesitated and I told her. She had a strange look on her face and then said, "You mean like your ex-boyfriend?" Our son's name is very unique, to the point that I've never met another person with the same name. Now she refuses to talk to me about it. I feel betrayed and disgusted with her. It's like a switch was flipped in my mind and I just can't look at her the same way. The fact that she reacted the way she did when the friend brought it up and she hesitated, because I've never known a mother of a young kid that isn't more than happy to talk about her freaking kids. Well, most of the time. And she hesitated, and now she won't even talk to him about this, and she seems different. That says everything. And this story, by the way, has a lot of updates to what this guy does. Now, update number 1, he says, lots of questions, so I'll go ahead and answer a few that have been mentioned a few times. I'm not giving out my son's name. When we discussed the name, I had no idea it was her high school ex's name. I knew she had one boyfriend in high school whose name was never told to me, and the relationship lasted around 2 years. Come on, every guy, well, let me put it this way, every girl usually is going to know the names of the guy's prior girlfriends, and usually the girls will tell the guys unless there's some reason to cover it up. Here we go. I'm upset, but that doesn't automatically make me abusive. People were labeling him abusive because he had issue with this. I would never raise my hand to my wife or anyone else I care about. I will always love my son and would never, and I mean never, treat him any differently. I will post an update when I talk to her, probably in a day or two. Next update, he says, so to get some things out of the way first, the kid is mine. I have very pronounced features that he has also, plus her ex was not white, and I am white. I'm not going to throw him away, as so many commenters suggested. No, you're not going to throw your kid away just because you don't like the name and it was named after your ex's true love or something like that. Now, obviously, this kid wasn't his. That'd be a different story in terms of, obviously how he'd handle it. I would still say you get the point, but people actually think he's going to get rid of the kid because of the name. When we were deciding on the name, she said she remembers somebody from school who had it and instantly loved it. My wife and I both had a very promiscuous past before we met and agreed that the past should stay there, so I didn't push too hard to know certain details. Well, that was a mistake, man. No matter how much of a promiscuous past he may think he had, I guarantee you, she had him topped because, well, let's be honest, no guy can top a woman. The best-looking guy in the world can't top an average chick because she can just hold a sign saying free, you-know-what, and there'll be a line a mile long of dudes ready to take their turn. I knew she had one boyfriend in high school who cheated on her, but I never asked his name, and that is my fault. He cheated on her. Ah. Sounds like she was with a Chatter Tyrone, the bad boy. He says, so on Thursday, we didn't have the discussion because that is her late day at work, plus this wasn't a discussion I wanted to have with our son in the house. So Thursday night came around, and when she came in, I told her that Friday after work we need to sit down and talk if she has any plans she needs to cancel. She looked very worried and said, okay. Good for him. Way to lay down the law. And besides, her wondering what you're going to talk about will make her all worked up. Friday came, we sit down, and after her sister came to pick up our son for a sleepover. I asked why she would not tell me where the name came from. She said she was sorry, but she didn't think it was that big a deal, and I would not agree to it. Well, if you didn't think it was a big deal, then you wouldn't have kept it a big secret. I told her that it was my choice too, and she took that away from me. I asked her if she would feel the same way if we had a daughter and named her after one of my exes, and she said that's different. I wouldn't let that happen. There you go. She said that she knows that she can disconnect the name from her ex, but she wouldn't be sure she could do the same. I was floored and starting to feel sicker than I had felt. I told her that is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard come out of someone's mouth. Get in line, man. I've heard plenty of stupid things and worse. I moved on because I had more questions, and I was about to go off just on what she said alone. I asked her if she still loved him, and she paused for a minute and then said yes, but not the same way she loves me, and then you don't just stop loving someone, that love changes. There you go. Yes, I still love him, but not the same way I love you. Translation, he had my heart. He had my soul. He had my mind. But you get me twice a month, the most boring SCX ever. I married you. Remember, and a lot of times the ones they carry the torch for, the guys actually, it was always a roller coaster with the guy that brought drama to their life, who no doubt cheated. He says here, I wanted to throw up at this point. She could see that I was very upset. She smiled at me and said I should know she only wants to be with me. Yeah, because you provide. I said that I needed to know how you love him. At that point, she put her hand on my leg and tried to change the subject. I told her to take her effing hand off me right now and answer the question. Her mood changed right there from wanting to move past this to no, he didn't effing cuss at me. She said, look, you're upset and I get that, but what I did is done, so you need to get over this and move on. Oh, she's going to lay down the law with him? Something tells me, obviously, probably, even though this guy claims he's very promiscuous, which is funny to hear that from a guy, let alone a guy this happened to, still, she has the upper hand. And I think he still probably felt like he got the better deal in the relationship in terms of like, I got that girl. But she obviously found the guy that could provide. And that's no doubt why she's with him. And she thinks, obviously, she has the leverage and can talk to him this way. She got up and said, I'm meeting my mom for dinner. I'll see you when you get home. I told her if you walk out that door, then no, you won't. She looked at me like I was full of crap, grabbed her purse, and left. I packed my bag, stayed at a friend's house that night. Right now, I'm just sitting here trying to figure out what to do next. So, she lied to you all this time about the son's name. She obviously still carries the torch for that guy. She obviously doesn't respect you very much because pretty much she's dismissing your feelings on the issue, amongst many other things. This doesn't exactly sound like a very happy family, happy marriage. But again, it ain't happy when they settle. And this is unfortunate. So many good guys out there think they got their girl and she loves them dearly, and this is the type of crap they may end up dealing with one day. Now for the final update here, he says here, so I want to start out by saying thank you for all your support. Most of you guys have been great with the exception of a few trolls calling me a cuck. Of course, there's some trolls calling. There's always trolls at Reddit. They got nothing better to do than to troll. So I came home the next day after staying the night elsewhere. She didn't really say much to me other than hey, and went back to messing around with her laptop. Because she thinks you're not going anywhere. She doesn't respect you. If she really cared and respected this guy, she would have handled that whole thing differently. Well, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. And certainly if he left, she would have chased after him. I went upstairs and put up my things on the guest room and lay down to take a nap because I didn't get much sleep the night before. She came in and asked what I was doing, and I told her that until she's ready to sit down and have an adult conversation about that name, that I would be sleeping in here. She rolled her eyes and said that she thought I had gotten over that and asked why I even bothered to come home if I was going to act like this. See, she's making him out to be the bad guy here. You're acting like an immature child, blah, blah, blah. I told her because it was my home and I'm not going to miss out on time with my son just because you don't have the ability to tell right from wrong or at least admit it. She stormed off, and that was that for the day. A little drama queen. But remember, in her mind, she has all the leverage and power, so therefore she doesn't do anything wrong, and he's the bad guy. And we all know the joke about women and accountability, especially these modern gals. The next day, she came up from work, and she was on the couch waiting for me. She asked what I was going to take for us to be back to normal. I told her that we would need to see a marriage counselor first and consider changing our son's name to his middle name. The look of rage on her face when I said that last part was something I don't even think I've ever seen before. I hate to say it, but it made me a little happy to see it. She told me to go F myself and that I was never going to happen and stormed off. We didn't talk for the rest of the day. No. That kid is 5 years old. That's the name he had. I don't agree with what she did at all. I think she's an a-hole. And this guy has very good reasons to end the relationship, especially how she's acting and so dismissive about this whole thing because she obviously doesn't love him. She's carrying the torch for the other guy. And yeah, people can have memories of the old boyfriend or the old girlfriend. I can get that, but obviously she's still in love with the guy, has an attachment, and the disrespect with the name. But the way she's treating the guy here, this is not love. This is not worth someone being married to. But trying to change the kid's name at 5 years old, no. If he was 5 months old, maybe that'd be one thing, but no. The next day rolled around. My wife hadn't gotten home from work. Someone started knocking on the door, and it was her parents. They said we need to talk, so I invited them in, and we sat down. They said they know what she did was wrong, and they always knew, and so did the whole family and all her friends. The whole family and friends all knew what that kid's name really meant to her and all that. Great. They apologized to me for keeping it a secret and said that they agree with counseling and they would be happy to pay for it. But changing his name is going too far. I told them thank you and that I haven't made that decision without a lot of consideration. I told them that you really don't know what you would do until you were in this situation. After a little more talking, they left and asked me not to tell my wife they stopped by. I agreed. Shortly after they left, I called around and found a counselor and made appointments that worked with both of our work schedules. When my wife came home, I told her about the appointment and she just walked off not saying a word. Think about it. People's actions tell you everything. Her actions, how she treats him, the counselor, she's just walking away like this is stupid, you're a child. There's no point in preserving this. Our appointment is Thursday and I'm still sleeping in the guest room. Why are you sleeping in the guest room? That's what's been going on so far. Thank you guys, and I'll try to update you again when I can. And as an edit, he says, I just want to say I'm not going to up and change the name. It's something I'm considering. I want to talk to the counselor first to see what impact it might have, if any, and how to go about it if there is none. So that is the end of his story, but I find out later on through the comment section that guess what, guys? He does divorce her. And I think that's a good thing for multiple fronts, particularly just how she treats him. You can see through her actions, especially you guys have been in relationships or married. She doesn't give a shit about him. She married him because obviously the one she really wanted wasn't into her. And it's just not worth it. Unfortunately, she's obviously going to get her way and all that in terms of probably a favorable ruling from the divorce, the family courts and all that. But you can't stay with somebody that treats you like that. And you can just tell through all her actions. She doesn't give a shit. And of course, the whole carrying the torch, really carrying the torch for her ex. That's what I think about this. But changing the name at 5 years old, I know somebody's going to disagree with me. Probably more than one person will disagree with me, but the kid's 5. He knows his fucking name. Now some comments here before I wrap this up. One says here, yeah, the fact that everyone knew and no one told you is very telling that she knew what she was doing was sketchy and sneaky. Don't let her tell you to get over this. The other one says, yeah, this doesn't seem to be just about the name anymore. If she would sit down and have an adult talk with him and be honest and calm, I wouldn't say she was so awful. But she is acting like a petulant child who got caught with her hand in the cookie jar. She's acting like she's not willing to go to therapy. I don't know if I could stay married to someone like that. It's like the cheater who isn't a bit sorry about what they did, just sorry they got caught. Yeah. She treats him like shit. Another guy says here, that makes it so much worse. I'm sorry too, man. I would ask how she said it's no big deal that she actively had other people keeping the secret from you. And one more, this guy says, she has quite the nerve to act like she's acting, naming him and purposely hiding from you for years, then getting angry with you when somehow do not think this is a perfectly normal thing to do. I know it's your wife, but damn, I'd be running out of patience with this woman. Good luck. Hope you're getting through this. Well, I know he's getting through this. He's getting through it by getting rid of her and ending it. And there are times you got to end it. And it's sad for a kid who one day thought mom and dad had a great thing going and have mom and dad split up. But he's 5 years old. He will get over it if handled right. They both love the kid and treat him well and all that. But again, you got to pay attention to people's actions, not their words. And her actions say everything, both in terms of the deception going on with the kid's name, as well as her treatment of him. Life is too short, guys. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. And also, guys, I mentioned it the other day. If you haven't done so already, you got to check out my new channel, SSM Clips. It's a great new channel for short videos. It's either going to be clips of videos from here on They Do What or Strong Successful Male. Those videos, the clips usually 2 to 3 minutes long. Entertaining pieces of entertaining stories or good pieces of wisdom and teaching, or exclusive short stories that are a little too short for this channel because this is more the longer stories. Stories that are 4, 5, 6 minutes long. Good one, but something you can quick listen to while you're on the go for some quick entertainment. Definitely check it out. I'll post a link in the comment section as well as the top of the description. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.